Good evening and welcome to this edition of Newsleader on 6. I'm Jim Puller.
And I'm Amelia Marquez. In tonight's news, we'll bring you the final segment of Tom Corrington's interview with State Representative Judd Matheny. The Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance is sharing a report from the Federal Trade Commissions that reveals some surprising information. And we'll talk to the owner of a new jet service that recently located at the Tullahoma Municipal Airport. And Andrew Todd will bring us a report from the new Bluegrass Underground, which opens Saturday night in Pelham. We'll have these stories and more on tonight's Newsleader on 6.
Kay and Greg Gillum have added another touch of excellence to their furniture business. Now a newly stocked 20,000 square foot Badcock Home Furniture and More location in Tullahoma, Tennessee. Locally owned and operated and offering the same friendly professional service with the best prices on name brand products like their sister store in Winchester, Tennessee has for years. Visit the new Tullahoma location and shop name brand bedroom suites, electronic department with computers, tablets, 4K televisions, and accessories. A large complete appliance center to fit the style of any household. Beautiful selection of rugs that complement any person's taste. A variety of living room combinations all in one large showroom. That's right, Badcock Home Furniture and More has added a new location. 373 West Lincoln Street, Tullahoma, Tennessee. Offering special prices year-round. Financing is always available. Speedy delivery to your home or office. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday, noon to 5 p.m. Call 931-222-4353.
Cool off at Southern Middle Tennessee's newest water park, Tullahoma's Splash Island. Fun for all ages. 3 25-foot water slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items available. All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 to 9 p.m. Sundays 1 to 6. Join the fun at Tullahoma's Splash Island.
Welcome back. The Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance's Securities Division is sharing the results of an annual report from the Federal Trade Commission that reveals a fraud loss trend that may be surprising to some. Millennials reported losing money to financial scams more often than older consumers. According to the FTC's 2017 Consumer Centennial Network data book, consumers in their 20s reported losing money to fraud more often than those over age 70. For example, among people ages 20 to 29 who reported fraud, 40% indicated they lost money. In comparison, just 18% of those 70 and older who reported fraud indicated they lost no money.
The report indicated, however, that when these older adults did report losing money to a scammer, the median amount lost was greater. The median reported loss for people age 80 and older was $1,092 compared to $400 for those aged 20 to 29. Tennessee ranked 10th in the U.S. in 2017 for reports of fraud, with total reported consumer losses at $13.7 million. The FTC's 2017 data book included complaints by 2.68 million consumers regarding fraud, identity theft, and other types of consumer concerns. This is a decrease from last year's nearly 3 million consumer-related complaints.
TB Jets will be making Tullahoma Regional Airport its new home. The company offers professionally managed aircraft, co-ownership, a lease program, and on-demand charters. Philip Scoggins brings us this video as Mayor Lane Curley speaks with Trevor Blackmer, the company's co-owner.
So we're here at Tullahoma Regional Airport and this beautiful jet behind us. We're joined with Trevor, one of the owners. Trevor, tell us about this plane and what brings you to Tullahoma and what might be some opportunities for Tullahoma individuals.
Yeah, so the aircraft is a Beechjet 400E. And it's a light jet. It's about a 515 mile an hour airplane. We've completely refurbished it. This one is a older aircraft, but brought up to a better than new standard. And so we're doing that so that we can offer it to people in the local and surrounding communities, either in a charter, a lease, or an ownership position in that aircraft, and then support their business and personal travel needs as they see fit. As far as the reason for coming to Tullahoma, it's a very strategic location for us. It helps us serve the Nashville market as well as Chattanooga, Huntsville, and really the rest of Tennessee. So the local community, the city, the airport are all very supportive, and so it's made it win-win situation from a business standpoint for us.
So how do people in Tullahoma interact with this? So it's available for charters. Tell us how that works.
Yeah, so charter is basically on demand. So if somebody has a single trip, or maybe they travel once every few months, that's kind of the ideal arrangement. They don't have to pay any sort of monthly fees or buy into anything. We'll take them wherever they need to go. The charter probably ends up being the most expensive per hour, but the least committal on the part of the customer. The lease is essentially a monthly contribution toward the overhead expenses of the aircraft, and then the lessees essentially pay an hourly fee for the dry lease of the airplane, and a daily fee for crew, and whatever it costs for fuel. And then finally, ownership will offer in either quarter shares, half shares, or the whole aircraft. Manage that for the client. Again, they pay a monthly fixed cost proportionate to the amount of the aircraft that they own. And that has the advantage on the tax side of being able to depreciate the aircraft as an owner. And on the operational side, it's the lowest cost per hour because they're basically just paying fuel and maintenance.
Yeah. So do you anticipate growing in Tullahoma?
Yeah, our intent is to grow by about an aircraft per quarter. So once we get this up and running and the local community and the Nashville market all aware of the fact that we're here and available, we'll try to add one more plane per quarter, and that should bring about 4 jobs per airplane. So an ideal size would be to get to about 10 aircraft at this location, and then we'll see how things are going and potentially grow even more.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Tullahoma.
Well, thank you. We're excited.
Stay with us. More Newsleader is coming up after these messages.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma and Winchester. Check out this 2018 Ford Focus, $299 a month. Or check out the 2018 Ford F-150 up to $9,000 off. Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma and Winchester. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family since 1932.
Welcome back. Last weekend, the Lynx Andrew Todd went to Pelham, Tennessee for the opening of Bluegrass Underground at their new location. After 10 years at Cumberland Caverns, the owners of the show moved to their new permanent location known as the Caverns. Andrew spoke with Bluegrass Underground founder and Caverns owner Todd Mayo on opening day.
I was inspired by sort of dreaming. The same thing that led me to conceive of Bluegrass Underground was sort of imagining the very first time I'd ever walked into a cave what would be possible with music. And after doing it for almost 10 years, I've always dreamed of sort of the ideal cave. And the reality was pretty good, but I really was hoping and searching to find something that would be even more suitable for what we do. And so that's bringing in a cave with permanent power, permanent sound and lights, and something maybe a little closer to our core markets, Nashville, and Chattanooga, Birmingham, Atlanta, and something that was maybe a little closer off the interstate, handicap accessible, and ultimately something that I could own and control to sort of realize the full vision, and sort of having a cave as a music venue first and foremost, as opposed to a show cave that we happen to do music in. So just kind of dreaming, like everything else, daydreaming a little bit, got me started.
And what brought you guys down here to Pelham, Tennessee?
Well, this beautiful cave brought us here, and we had heard about it, but it wasn't on a map. We didn't know where it was, and when we first sort of discovered it, for lack of a better word, I knew that it potentially had everything that I was looking for, but it was vastly different then than it is now. For point of reference, if you stand on the stage where right now, when I first came in there, I could touch the ceiling. So we had to move a lot of dirt out, and we had to do a lot of, I guess the gist of it is we had to bring in a lot of geologist, archaeologist, biologist, hydrologist, and do some diligence on the space and know that we could move that dirt out and have it have the scale that I wanted. And after that, it was, you know, challenging things like bringing in permanent three-phase power, getting sound and lights, then the parking lot, and all the things you do for a music venue. So that's how we did it. The main thing we've tried to do with this cave is to be as minimally impactful as possible to the cave ecosystem and environment. And a good example of that is the bigmouth salamander, that is the Tennessee state amphibian, and they thrive not where the music is, but on the other side of the cave.
Right.
And we've left that undisturbed. There's 1,200 feet of cave back there, and it's very wet. And when it becomes a rain event, it really flows, and that's super healthy for them. Yeah. So we've kind of adopted them as a mascot, if you will. My daughter's name is Maggie, and when you come, you'll see the salamander right there on the ticket office. Yeah. And I said, we'll call her Maggie. And she says, no, Dad. She's 7. We'll call her Sally. Sally the salamander. So she's got a name, and we do. And then even where we're sitting right now, we planted all these trees and shrubs last fall so they could mature. And these are all native species. When you look at this microclimate, we brought a landscape architect out. He gave me the idea and said, man, you should make this, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, an arborarium or something. But basically, it's a place where it's all native species. So in time, we want to develop this in terms of the flora and the fauna to be as beautiful and distinct and natural and native to this area in Tennessee as the cave is, as the bigmouth salamander is. And, you know, that's just the right thing to do, but it's the cool thing to do. That's right. So when the cool thing to do is the right thing to do, there ain't no question. It's just what you do. In February, which was just 1 month ago, we had the rainiest February in the history of Pelham, literally in recorded history.
Yep.
I could have really used that, we could have used that to be the driest February record, or just average. And so when the rains finally stopped, and we had a few days window to do things like getting the wall put up, and getting our power put in, because construction was kind of at a halt, that was a great moment, because we were very behind schedule. And we got there. So that was euphoria to me, or high moments. It's going to come in a minute where I'll cry with the music.
Absolutely.
So, but that ain't happened yet. Up to now is when that rain stopped.
Yes.
Is when I got happy.
Well, we are absolutely looking forward to it. It's going to be a wonderful night.
Amen.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. We're going to cut the banjo strings, and Chris in this cavern right now, as long as my right-hand man can give me the scissors. Where are they, Joe? Where is anybody that could save us right now? Any heroes? What in the world, ladies and gentlemen? Batman, what are you doing here? What in the world do you have in it? Robin! Oh my God! This is amazing, everybody! Joe, come here, Joe. Joe, you do the honors.
Cursing the quest, courting disaster, measureless nights for home, moments of rest and glimpses of laughter, our treasures along the road. When the road gets rough, your steps may stumble, and your thoughts may start to stray.
More Newsleader is coming up in a moment.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. Tonight we bring you our final segment of Tom Corrington's interview with State Representative Judd Matheny about the 2018 legislative session.
So let's talk a little bit about another federal issue, but it comes down to affecting us. I see the governor's been complaining about it, and that is the imposition of steel and aluminum tariffs that the president is pushing, and sort of ignoring his own advisors across the board.
Yeah, and I don't think everybody understands the change the president has in mind for that. It could have, people need to know, and I guess most people work in or are related to, or the automotive industry is such a big financial part of Tennessee, and much of it operates on a just-in-time,
inventory system.
Inventory, yes.
Yeah.
So if there's a hiccup, thank you, or a 2-week delay or a funnel in the supply chain, it can really rock our world a little bit. So we have to, people may balk at purchases if they're more expensive, and when you're looking way down the road in the supply chain at the absolute raw material, which is not the raw material, but one of the nearly raw materials, steel, that are going into all these components, you choke that off, it could have a real problem with our economy.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of eggs in the financial basket in Tennessee, in the automotive industry, and what's called the second-tier automotive industry, which is the businesses that support the main plants, the ones that make your seat covers and your carpets and steering wheels and all those. There are hundreds and hundreds of those factories.
Locally,
yes.
Yeah, we've got a very
That's
large
the number one employer if you aggregate them together by far.
And the governor's been expressing a very great concern. We got a very heavy election season. We also have a history that's dismal in terms of voter turnout. So for crying out loud, folks, if you don't like what's going on,
we're in the bottom of the national spectrum on voter turnout, but we have the most activity going on. So we have to change that for sure.
And if we don't like what the government's doing, it's our own fault.
And as always, you're right. I'll tell everybody, if you don't get involved in your government will get involved in you. You can count on it.
Okay. Well, we got a minute or two left. What anything heavy on your mind?
Well, want to wrap up session, and going to get into the congressional run, and as has been my interest for the entire time I've been in the legislature, I'm going to continue to concentrate on defense issues and personal freedoms, and also for the last 3 years, and starting my 4th year of really working on the senior citizen issue and the advocacy for senior citizens. And I'm doing this in the legislature also. I passed a pretty substantial piece of legislation last year that helps enable companies to come here and be paid with predictability to take care of our seniors. And people need to understand that the senior citizen population is coming in such a wave that if we don't begin preparing now for the number that we need to take care of, we're going to all pay the price, and that's, they need nutrition, they're going to need transportation, they're going to need housing, they're going to need health care, and it's a new industrial revolution.
That isn't really getting that much attention.
It's not, and I mean, for every job we're going to lose to automation in the automotive industry, to robotics, there's a job to be created as a nurse or in healthcare somewhere. Absolutely, right now, and we need to start shifting gears a little bit, because these folks are coming, and they're going to be the largest segment of our population by far in 15 years.
Largest segment by far. And you're talking about what, 65?
62 and 65 and over, yes,
65
sir.
and up. Okay. Well, all right. Well, that.
But let me tell you, before we go, you live in the best state in the union. You have more revenue, excess revenue per capita than any other state in the union. You're the most debt-free state in the union per capita. We need to be proud to be in Tennessee. There's no income tax. You have a lot of personal freedoms. You have a lot of opportunities to create businesses here. I think you have a very business-friendly environment in Tennessee. So be proud of your state, and for every negative thing you hear, there's 1,000 positive things, I promise you.
We'll be right back in a moment with more Newsleader on 6.
Have you ever been involved in one of these? And you need one of these? Then look no further than the Russell Barnett Certified Collision Center. With a state-of-the-art facility, aluminum capabilities, lifetime paint guarantee, Russell Barnett Auto Rental, claims assistance from start to finish. We're here to serve you. So stop by and let us show you why we are #1, the Russell Barnett Certified Collision Center.
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. John Gray stopped for the Interdenominational Palm Sunday Prayer Walk this past Sunday, where members of several Tullahoma churches hold a brief gathering to acknowledge the significance of the day.
All right, this is the Palm Sunday Walk that has been done in Tullahoma for years. And this year we're doing it, they're walking from the churches downtown over to the caboose. And the service will be held at Caboose Park. All right, most of the group is gathered here, and we've scattered all around the caboose, and we're getting ready to start the service here.
The Lord be with you. And also with you. Good morning. Good morning. It's good to have you all here. We are glad after a couple of years of not doing this to revive our Palm Walk. Well, let us begin. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout aloud, O daughter of Jerusalem. Lo, your king comes to you. Triumphant and victorious is he, humble and riding on a donkey. On a colt, the foal of a donkey.
Here's our scripture, Mark 11, 1 through 11. When they were approaching Jerusalem at Bethphage and Bethany, near the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples and said to them, "Go into the village ahead of you, and immediately as you enter it, you will find tied there a colt that has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it. If anyone says to you, 'Why are you doing this?' just say this, 'The Lord needs it, and will send it back here immediately.'" They went away and found a colt tied near a door outside in the street. As they were untying it, some of the bystanders said to them, "What are you doing untying the colt?" They told them what Jesus had said, and they allowed them to take it. Then they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their cloaks on it, and he sat on it. Many people spread their cloaks on the road, and others spread their leafy branches that they had cut in the fields. Then those who went ahead and those who followed were shouting, "Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our ancestor David. Hosanna in the highest heaven." Then he entered Jerusalem and went into the temple, and when he had looked around at everything, as it was already late, he went out to Bethany with the 12. Praise God.
Having heard your word, we thankfully remember the life of our Lord Jesus Christ on earth. As those who seek to follow Christ, help us to be his faithful disciples. And when we fail at our faithfulness, as we all do, renew us by your Spirit. Transform us so that every day our lives might grow more and more into the image of Jesus Christ. As he was humble, may we be humble. As he was gracious, may we be gracious. And as he was loving, may we be loving. All these things we ask in the name of the one who taught us to pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that caused the Lord of bliss to bear the dreadful curse for my soul, to bear the dreadful curse for my soul. Hosanna! Blessed are all who go forth to serve. Glory to God in the highest. Amen.
The pet of the week this week at the Tullahoma Animal Shelter is a shepherd mix named Henry, who entered the shelter as a stray. Henry is approximately 3 years old and great with other dogs and children. Henry also has had his vaccinations and will receive a free neuter provided by the shelter. Be sure to check out the shelter on Facebook for information about upcoming events and fundraisers. Remember, you can help support your local shelter by adopting, donating, or volunteering. For more details, contact Teresa at 454-9580. The Tullahoma Animal Shelter is located at 942 Maplewood Avenue.
The Coffee County Humane Society featured pet this week is Willie. He is a blue heeler who is looking for a place to run and play. The shelter also has many other dogs available for adoption at 1210 Oakdale Street in Manchester. Hours of operation at the shelter are 7:30 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. on Saturday. The shelter's phone number is 723-2730. Donations for animal care can be made to the Coffee County Humane Society at P.O. Box 252 in Manchester. Their website is www.coffeehumane.org.
And we'll be right back in just a moment with your weather forecast.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck. Chevy, Ford, and Ram, man. Russell's got your truck. With the best selection anywhere, Russell's got your truck.
Where can you find all four all-American truck brands all at one place? Check us out on the web at russellbarnett.com. If you still can't decide, give us a call. We'll line them up for you. Either way, my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
Russell's got your truck, man.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's gonna be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1928 at 87 degrees. The record low was in 1966 at 23 degrees. The average high on this day is 67 and the average low is 43. Rain in your forecast for tonight with a low of around 47. Mostly cloudy weather expected on Friday with a high of 60 and a low of 38, and mostly cloudy weather in the forecast again for Saturday with a high of 68 and a low of 46. And that's our newsletter report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for Newsleader on 6. You have a good evening.
And from all of us at Newsleader 6 wishes you and your families a wonderful Easter weekend. Thank you.